A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. When Mary married Max Sanders, she felt that her destiny as a woman had been fulfilled. She loved him as a woman believes she can love only once during her lifetime. And she looked forward with assurance to years of happiness with her husband. He had become an essential part of her. He was a very reason for existence. And it is not surprising that her friends are distressed by her refusal to accept reality and to face the undeniable fact that Max is dead. Yesterday, when Daddy Stratford, always wise, kind, and understanding, went to talk with Mary, he was alarmed at her quiet statement that Max has not left her, that Max is not dead. Now it is the next afternoon. Mary's young sister-in-law, Phyllis, who has been an invalid since the birth of her second baby, is in her wheelchair in the kitchen of the little house. Her husband, Danny Stratford, wearing a large apron, is standing over the stove, struggling valiantly to follow her directions in preparing a beef stew.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, Danny, you look so awkward. Why don't you hold the handle of the skillet in your left hand and the fork in the right?
Oh, you mean turn the pan around, huh? I never thought of that.
Oh, be careful, Danny. The flame's too high.
Oh.
You're supposed to sear the meat, not burn it.
Sear? Say, where'd you get that $2 word? What's it mean, honey?
It means brown the meat quickly so the juices will stay in.
Gosh, Phyllis, how do you know things like that?
Silly, you have to know more than that to cook 3 meals a day. Oh, Danny, the pan's burning.
Oh.
You need more fat.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny, dear, why don't you give up and let Mary cook the stew when she comes in?
Give up? Why? Oh, why, Stratford never gives up.
But that's the only reason we persuaded Mary to come today. Because Laura went driving with her father and Tweed Larson. And we told Mary there was nobody to cook our dinner.
Yeah, I know, but Mary hasn't been here since... it doesn't seem fair to make her work.
Well, I thought we'd decided to do something to keep Mary busy. To keep her from staying home and brooding about Max.
Well, sure, honey, but at the rate I'm going, there'll still be plenty of cooking for Mary to do.
I guess you're right. Yeah. Oh, that must be Mary.
Well, gosh, what'll I do? I can't leave the stew.
I think you'd better leave the stew before it's burned to a frazzle. Turn off the gas, dear, and drop those pieces into the pot.
Yeah, I'm coming. Just drop them in like that?
Mm-hmm. Just like that. Mary will finish it. Oh, I feel almost guilty having her come here and seeing us together and happy when she's so lonely and miserable without Max.
So do I. Maybe that's why she hasn't come to see us, huh?
I'm afraid it is.
Well, there you are. Oh, I'll go let her in.
Yes.
Hello, Danny.
Hey, Daddy, we thought it was Mary.
Is that Daddy? Come on in.
Hi, Phyllis. Say, you look mighty chipper today.
I'm feeling fine, Daddy.
Well, Phyllis, I'm not staying long. I come to talk to you about Mary. I want to leave before she gets here.
About Mary? Is something wrong? Everyone says she's been so wonderful, so calm.
That's just it. She's been too calm.
But it's only natural and that it's going to take her a long while to get over the shock of Max's death.
Oh, yes, of course. I understand what a shock it's been, and so does John Benson, but, we're both worried about her. I know it's the hardest thing we humans have to face in this life, the loss of someone we love. But Mary's in a state of mind that, it ain't quite natural. What she's trying to do, Phyllis, is to pretend that Max isn't dead.
Well, maybe it makes her feel better to pretend.
Yes, I reckon it does. I understand that part of it. I remember when your mother died, Danny. It was months before I could make myself believe she was really gone. That is, my heart wouldn't believe it. But the sensible part of me, my mind, kept telling me that she wasn't there, so after a while I had to believe it.
Oh, Daddy, do you think there's anything I can do? I feel so helpless sitting here in this wheelchair.
Yes, Phyllis, that's why I came to you. Now, you're Max's sister. You were closer to him than anybody except Mary, and I thought you ought to talk to her alone.
Oh, you mean I ought to get out of the way when she comes, huh?
Yes, Danny, for a little while. You see, a woman will open her heart to another woman and tell her things she won't tell a man, no matter how much the man loves her and wants to help her.
Oh, I hope I won't say the wrong thing, Daddy. She loved Max so terribly. She's probably been crying her eyes out.
No, Phyllis, that's just the trouble. She ain't cried at all.
Oh.
That's why John Benson's worried. He says the reaction ain't set in yet. He says it ain't natural for her to go on this long without breaking down. And if she don't let down soon, well, he don't know what'll happen. He just keeps saying that Max ain't dead.
Oh. Hey, Daddy, I got an idea. Let's you and I duck out right now, and we'll tell Mary we've got an errand to do, huh?
Oh, you have an errand. There's not enough butter in the house for supper.
Okay, I'll get some. Well, come along, Daddy. Let's get going. Hiya, Mary. Come on in.
Hello, Danny. Going out?
Yep, I got to go to the store.
Hello, Mary.
Well, Daddy, Phyllis didn't tell me you were coming for supper.
Well, I ain't, Mary, much as I'd like to. I just stopped in my way back to the hotel. Danny's walking downtown with me. I'll see you soon.
I'll be seeing you in a few minutes. So long.
Mary, I'm so glad to see you.
Phyllis, I'm glad to see you, too.
Take off your things and sit down in the big chair, Mary. Max always said it was the only comfortable chair in our house. Oh, Mary, it's so hard to believe. I know how you've been suffering. He was closer to you than to anybody in the world.
He is close to me, Phyllis.
Yes. Yes, of course. He always will be. But, Mary, I don't think Max would want you to stay alone so much. You should see your friends. Get out of the house.
But I'm not alone, Phyllis. Max is with me. And he's closer to me when no one else is there.
Oh, I know how you feel. You want to sit and think about him and pretend that he's going to open the door and walk in.
I'm not pretending anything, Phyllis. I know Max is with me.
Mary, do you remember what Max said just before he died? Remember how he said everything was dark? And then suddenly his eyes opened wide. And he said he could see things he never saw before.
Yes, I remember.
It sounded as if he really saw the future, Mary. He said he saw you all alone, and you were afraid. But he said you shouldn't be, because he saw a whole new life for you, a life of happiness.
Yes, Phyllis. I remember every word Max said.
You believed what he said, didn't you, Mary?
Why, of course.
Then won't you try to go on as he asked you to? Oh, I know how hard it is. I know how you and Max loved each other. I know you can never forget him. I know it seems as though part of you's gone, but...
Phyllis, you've forgotten the most important thing of all. You haven't remembered everything Max said.
What do you mean?
You heard him, Phyllis. He said, I'll be with you, Mary.
But Mary...
And he is with me. He's here with me now, very close to me. You are with me, aren't you, Max?
Yes, Mary. I'm with you. Don't be afraid.
Oh, Max, darling, I'm not afraid.
Mary, it isn't right for you to be alone so much.
Didn't you hear him, Phyllis? Didn't you hear his voice telling me not to be afraid?
Mary, you'll make yourself sick. You've got to understand. You've got to face the truth.
Well, you heard his voice, Phyllis. You must have heard him. You see, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Max isn't dead.
Is Mary's mind actually becoming unbalanced in the shock of losing her husband, Max Sanders? Or Or is this a natural reaction? And will time gradually restore her to reality?
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. By the year 1990, we should see many amazing technological advances. And yet, in many ways, life will be very much the same. A husband will stop off at a bar on his way home and perhaps unburden himself a little to a friendly bartender.
Another one, Mr. Smith?
What time is it, Sam?
Why, almost 10 o'clock, Mr. Smith.
One more.
Listen to them. The old songs are still the best, huh, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Sam. I remember singing that one back in 1974. Just before I met my wife. Golden days, Sam.
Here's your beer, Mr. Smith.
Ah, thanks. That's good. Almost feels if I can go home and face Nettie now.
Wife trouble, Mr. Smith?
Wife trouble, Sam.
Fight?
Oh, never. Nettie and I never fight. Nettie's too mad about me ever to fight with me. She adores me. Worships the ground I walk on.
Well, this is something new. I remember only last year you was complaining she was throwing things.
And times have changed. Only wish she was still throwing things. At least in those days I could walk out and slam the door with a clear conscience. Now she's so sweet and loving, I feel like a murderer every time I stop in for a beer on my way home.
Tough, Mr. Smith. Tough.
Ever hear the expression, love will fly if held too lightly? Love will die if held too tightly?
Can't say I ever did.
If only she'd relax a little bit. See this bruise on my lip? She kisses me.
Huh?
For an hour every night when I come home.
Can you do anything for her?
I try. I remind her that she really wanted to marry Harvey Tubman. I remind her how we used to have those battles till the neighbors called the robot police. Nothing works. I'm gone for an hour. She cries.
Well, me, I ain't got that kind of trouble. I hang around too much, and Mabel calls me a loafer and turns me out.
That's a sad state. Can't figure him out. Well, I guess I'll go home and feed myself to the lioness. I tell you, Sam, when Nettie gets finished demonstrating how much she's missed me, I feel like a man who's been stuffed into an electronic washing machine with a dial set it rinse dry. How much do I owe you?
60 cents.
Well, if it isn't Henry Smith.
Brayling. I live and breathe Walter Brayling. What are you doing here?
Oh, having the night out.
Does Gloria know about this?
Things have changed, Henry.
I thought she kept you chained to the bedpost most of the time.
Not anymore, Henry, not anymore.
Oh, you aren't divorced, are you?
Oh, no. Gloria's home.
What'd you do, put a sleeping powder in her coffee?
Oh, goodness, no, Henry. That would be highly unethical.
I can't believe you just walked out on it.
10 years of marriage, Henry, and I never had a night to myself. But it'll be different from now on.
Oh?
By the way, Henry, what time is it?
10 o'clock.
Well, I guess I'd better be going.
Scared?
No, don't want to crowd my luck. Although, really, there's nothing to worry about.
I'd sure like to know how you do it, Walter.
Would you really?
Yes.
All right, Henry. Since you've always been a friend of mine, I'll let you in on it. Come on, my car is outside. I'll drive you home and let you see how it's done.
Well, that's nice of you, Walter.
Not at all, Henry. We fellows have to stick together. I don't suppose you know how Gloria and I came to be married in the first place, eh?
No, I don't.
Well, one evening, she threatened to tear off her clothing and call the police unless I married her.
No.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Well, Gloria was always a nervous girl.
I bet you had a pretty wretched time of it.
Oh, yes, it didn't take long for me to become the laughing stock of the neighborhood. Hand-pecked Brayling, they used to call me. I know, but things are changing now. Here, you see this?
What's that?
A single ticket to Rio on the morning rocket. I have hotel reservations there for a month. A whole month, Henry, to have a fling.
Won't Gloria make trouble over that?
That's the amazing part of it, Henry. She won't even know I'm gone. I'll be back in a month, and no one the wiser. You don't believe me, do you?
Frankly, no. Just how you going to swing it, Walter?
That's The secret, Henry, I tell you, it's the most wonderful thing ever invented. Worth every cent I paid for it.
What is it?
I'm going to show you. Here's my house. Notice the lights are all out. Shh. We'll wait up there on the front porch.
Walter, you haven't gone off your rocker, have you?
Now I meow twice. Now, Henry, watch the window in my bedroom.
Well, it looks as if somebody... Hey, there's a man up there. He's looking out.
Good. He sees me. He'll be down directly.
Isn't it a bit embarrassing for you, Walter?
Oh, not at all. You'll find out. Here he comes. Hello, B2.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brayling.
Close the door.
Either I'm going out of my mind or there are two of you. You never told me you had a twin brother.
I don't.
But if this fellow weren't in pajamas, I couldn't tell you apart.
That's the secret, Henry. Everything go all right, B2?
Oh, just fine, Mr. Brayling.
I suppose my wife was in her usual good form this evening?
As a matter of fact, we spent the evening playing gin.
No screaming? No shouting accusations?
Oh, no, sir. It was a very quiet evening.
Well, this is even better than I thought.
Well, Marrionetes Incorporated aims to satisfy, sir.
Did he say Marrionettes Incorporated?
That's right, Henry. Look him over. Isn't he excellently fashioned? You wouldn't dream he was a robot, a marionette, eh?
Oh, I can't believe it.
It's against the law, of course, to duplicate a human like this, but it's well worth the opportunity.
Well, I still don't believe it. You can't tell him from a human.
Only one way, Henry. Put your ear next to his chest. Listen. That's it.
Machinery. Walter, old man, how long's this been going on?
I've had him a month, Henry. I keep him in the cellar in my toolbox. Now, tonight I told Gloria I'd like to be excused for 5 minutes to run down to the cigar store. She agreed. I went down to the cellar, took out Brayling too, sent him back upstairs to sit with my wife until I got home.
Miraculous. Of course, it doesn't seem quite ethical somehow.
Oh, nonsense. It's highly ethical. I've been home all evening. I shall be home with her for the next month. In the meantime, another gentleman named Walter Brayling will be in Rio having the time of his life.
Well, can he walk around without fuel for a month?
Oh, he refuels himself, and he's built to do everything. Eat, drink, sleep. You'll take good care of my wife, won't you, B2?
Oh, of course. Your wife is rather nice. I've grown quite fond of her.
You see?
Walter, old man, how long has this Marrionettes Incorporated outfit been in business?
Secretly, for 2 years now. Why?
Well, I wonder, is there a possibility that I might get in touch with them?
You? But you love your Nettie.
Well, I know, but even so, just a little respite, a night or two once a month.
And she loves you dearly.
So much she can't barely leave me for half an hour. You know that lately she's taken to calling me up at work 10 or 12 times a day to talk baby talk?
Your Nettie?
My Nettie. What do you say, old man? Favor to an old buddy? Fellow lodge member?
Well, I could put you in touch with the man who makes them. Of course, you'd be pledged to secrecy once you learned where he's located.
Oh, naturally.
Very well, Henry. Here's his card.
Marrionettes Incorporated, W. Zig, proprietor and owner. New humanoid plastic 1990 model, guaranteed against wear. Our motto, no strings attached. Address the Jumble Shop, 43 South Wesley Drive.
Mr. Zig will take good care of you, Henry. He's a charming fellow, a real craftsman.
Wonderful. I'll see him first thing tomorrow. Well, I'd better be getting home now, though. Nettie's probably splitting a gasket.
See you around, old man, after I get back from Rio. And while I'm gone, you might drop around regularly, just as you always have. Treat Brayling, too, here as if he were me. Otherwise, Gloria might be suspicious.
Oh, I will. And, before I go, these marionettes are safe, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, tell them, B2. We're guaranteed.
Fine. Well, good night, Walter. Good night, B2.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
Good night, Henry. Well, I'm glad someone else will have a chance at a little happiness and freedom. All right, Brayling, too. Back into the cellar box for you. Come on. Down the steps. That's it.
It's very damp down here, Mr. Brayling.
Bad plumbing. Well, here we are.
Brayling.
Yes.
Before you put me back into the toolbox, could we have a word?
Certainly, old man.
This toolbox.
What about it?
Well, I don't like it, Mr. Brayling.
Why not?
It's cramped.
Oh. Well, I'll try to fix up something more comfortable when I get back from Rio. All right, now. before Gloria gets worried. Back.
Marionettes are made to move, not to keep still. How would you like to lie in a stuffy old box most of the time?
I didn't realize you fellas were that sensitive.
Well, you wouldn't like it at all. I keep running. There's no way to shut me off. I have my feelings, you know.
Well, day after tomorrow, I'll be off to Rio, and you won't have to stay in the box for a whole month. Or you can move upstairs.
But when you get back from Rio, I'll go back in the box.
Mr. Zig didn't tell me at Marrionetes Incorporated that it was possible to get a difficult specimen.
There's a lot he doesn't know about us. We're pretty new.
Now, look here, B2. This has gone far enough.
I'll never get to Rio.
Now, come on now. Into the box.
And another thing.
Well...
Your wife.
What about my wife?
Well, I've grown quite fond of her.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy your employment. You'll have the whole month.
I'm afraid you don't quite understand, Brayling. I've fallen in love with her.
You what?
You just don't appreciate her. Maybe if you hadn't always acted so meek and apologetic about everything, she'd have a little more respect for you as a man.
Well, now, you aren't supposed to behave like this. You know you think you...
Well, anyway, I could be very happy if I were married to Gloria.
Aren't you forgetting you're nothing but a big, overgrown puppet?
Careful, Brayling. I'm sensitive.
All right. I'm sorry. Now, look. You wouldn't mind waiting here a moment, would you? I have to go upstairs and make a phone call.
To whom?
Oh, nobody important. I have to call Henry Smith about something.
You're lying. You're going to call Marrionettes Incorporated and tell Mr. Zig to come and get me.
Oh, no, really, I'm not. I was... B2, stay away.
Stand where you are, Brayling.
Now, B2, take your hand off my arm.
No, Brayling.
What are you going to do?
Nothing much. I'm just going to put you in the toolbox, lock it, and lose the key.
What?
And then I'll buy another ticket to Rio, and Gloria and I can have a wonderful vacation.
You're insane.
Am I?
Now, wait a minute. Hold on, B2. Now, don't be rash. Let's talk this over.
Goodbye, Brayling.
B2, stop it. Don't. Let go. Help.
What, Brayling?
Help. Stop.
There.
Walter!
Yes, Gloria?
What in the world are you doing down there at this time of night?
Oh, nothing, lover. The pipes were knocking. I'm just making sure the boiler hasn't exploded. You go back to bed. I'll be up soon.
Well, hurry, won't you? We had such a nice evening. I'm lonesome for you.
Oh, you won't ever be lonesome again, darling. Never again.
Good morning, Nettie.
Oh, good morning, darling. How are you? Have a nice time last night? I missed you so.
Breakfast ready?
Aren't you going to kiss me good morning?
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
Oh, you're so wonderful, Henry. I guess I'm the luckiest person in the world.
Oh.
Here's your coffee. And how would you like your eggs?
Anyway, it's all.
Oh, but I want to please you.
Oh, Nettie, skipped the eggs this morning.
Oh, but you have to eat to keep well, darling.
I'm very healthy. I have an early business appointment.
Oh?
It's a friend of Walter Brayling's. I met Walter last night, and he...
Yes?
I'd better be off. Now, Nettie, don't look as if I were on my way to Rio or something. I'm only going to work.
It's just that I miss you so. I want to be with you all the time.
Well, I have to go through this every morning. I'll be back at supper. There's no need to cry now, is there?
No, darling. You aren't displeased with me, are you? I try so hard to do everything just as I think you'll like it.
No, I'm not displeased. Well, goodbye, dear.
Henry?
Yes?
You forgot to kiss me goodbye.
No strings attached, no strings attached. A very nice puppet with no strings attached. Let's see now. The Jumble Shop, 43 South Wesley. That should be about... here it is.
Yes?
Mr. Zig?
Yes?
Walter Brayling recommended me.
Enter. Your name?
Henry Smith, 55 Evergreen Place.
And what can we do for you, Mr. Smith?
Well, Brayling showed me his marionette last night.
I see.
I was intrigued with the idea. Not that my wife is anything like that female meat grinder that he's married to, you understand, but, I'm a man who enjoys an occasional evening with the boys, without complications.
Naturally.
So I thought...
That I could duplicate you.
Exactly.
I think it might be arranged. You understand the need for secrecy, of course. Although an act is pending in Congress to legalize Marrionettes Incorporated, it is still a felony to use one of my creations.
Well, I understand.
And there is the matter of The payment?
How much?
$9,000.
$9,000?
Well, I have an inferior model at $7,500.
No, if I go through with this, nothing's too good for Nettie. Nettie's my wife. We've been putting money aside to buy a summer house in Westport.
Sometimes we must choose.
Yes. Perhaps I could just slip out $9,000. It's a joint account. How soon can I have it?
I could construct the mannequin in about 2 months' time.
Good.
Shall I consider the order placed?
At once.
Of course, you would have to report here for a body mold, color index of your hair, lips, skin, etc. And I'll have to do a complete electro-emotional calibration.
You guarantee that these models are foolproof?
As foolproof as I can make them, Mr. Smith, and I've had years of training.
No chance of detection?
None whatsoever. I've never had a complaint.
Walter Brayling seems satisfied enough.
I assure you, he's been taken care of in high style.
If there were some way to be sure.
You have our guarantee?
Very well, Mr. Zigg. I'll get the money from the bank and send it to you.
Fine. You'll be just as delighted with yours as Walter Brayling is with his.
Oh, tell her.
Yes, Mr. Smith?
I'd like to cash this draft on my joint account.
Yes, sir. $9,000, sir.
That's right.
Well, I'm afraid that's impossible, Mr. Smith.
Impossible. My wife and I have a good $15,000 in our account.
You're mistaken, Mr. Smith.
Oh, but I know.
Here's your card, sir. You see, Mrs. Smith withdrew $10,000 recently.
$10,000? Without even telling me?
I remember it distinctly, Mr. Smith. She said it was for a surprise for you.
Good Lord. She's bought that house in Connecticut. My birthday's next week. Well, I'll have to borrow it somewhere. I've already contracted.
Yes, sir. Quite a surprise for you, eh, Mr. Smith?
Yes? Oh, hello, Henry.
Hello, Gloria. Is Walter home? I'd like to speak to him.
Well, come in.
Thank you.
Is something wrong?
Well, just some private business. Matter of a loan.
Well, he went down to the travel bureau, but he should be back soon. We're going to Rio, you know.
Both of you?
Isn't it wonderful? I don't know what's come over Walter lately. He's been so romantic. Last night he came upstairs and said, darling, he hasn't called me darling in years. Darling, we're going to take a honeymoon to Rio. So we're leaving tomorrow. Anything wrong, Henry?
No. No, I'm just a little surprised, that's all.
Well, he should be back soon. Will you wait?
Yes, I'd better.
Say, as long as you're over here, maybe you can help me with something.
What?
Well, I went downstairs to get an old suitcase a little while ago, and I heard the strangest noises near that old tool chest of Walter's. He mentioned that the boiler was acting up, and I'm afraid to go down there again. I wonder if you'd take a look.
What kind of noises?
Like a thumping sound.
Maybe I'd better go down, Gloria. You stay up here.
Should I call a plumber, do you think?
No, I'll take care of it.
Strike out a bell.
I'll have a look. Good Lord. Hello in there. Well, just a minute. Keep quiet, for goodness sake. I'll have to smash the lock. Now, what in the...
Henry, thank God you've come.
Be quiet.
I've been there all night. I thought I'd suffocate. He tried to kill me, Henry. He tried to murder me.
Who? Which one are you?
Don't be an idiot. I'm Walter.
What happened?
B2, the Marrionette. He stuffed me in the toolbox and left me to suffocate. Well, fortunately, I found an old file in there and managed to get an air hole through the wood.
Good Lord. He's taking Gloria with him to Rio.
Have they left yet?
No, he's gone downtown for the tickets.
Oh, good. We may just have time.
For what?
To get down to Marrionetes Incorporated and tell Zig to stop him.
Well, you're in no condition.
Oh, don't worry about me. We can't waste any time. Come on.
But Gloria...
I'll sneak out. Tell her you fixed the plumbing. Tell her anything. I'll meet you outside.
All right.
Oh, what a fool I've been.
What a fool I almost was. I went down and ordered one of those things today. Gloria, love.
Yes, darling. Did you get the tickets to Rio?
Right here in my wallet. Honeymoon for two under the pampas smooth.
Oh, Walter, it's so nice to have you like this.
You like the change?
I don't know what did it, but whatever it is, I'm in favor of it. I hope it's permanent.
Oh, I intend to see that it is. Oh, by the way, darling, do you happen to remember where that old pistol of mine is?
Pistol?
Yes, I just thought since we're going to be traveling in strange countries, it wouldn't hurt to bring it along.
Oh. Well, I think it's here in the sideboard. Yes, there. Oh, Walter, you know how frightened I am of those things.
Oh, I'll be very careful of it. In fact, I think I'll go down in the basement and practice. Not really shooting it, of course, just to make sure it's in good working order.
Do be careful, darling.
Oh, I will. If you should hear a shot, dear, don't be frightened. I may fire it into a block of wood just to test it. Perhaps I'll fire into that old tool chest of mine. Yeah, that should absorb it.
Oh, speaking of that tool chest.
Yes, what about it?
It reminds me that Henry Smith was here.
Oh?
Yeah, I heard some noises downstairs, dear, and he went down to fix the plumbing.
Is he still down there?
No, he left. I really don't understand it. He seemed so anxious to see you before he went down to the cellar, and then he just left.
Oh. Did he stop the noises?
Well, he must have. I don't hear them.
I see.
What is it, dear?
I have to go out for a while,
But,
darling.
Walter, we'll have to pack if we're leaving.
I'll be back soon. There's something very important I have to attend to.
Well, what is it?
Just some personal business with Henry Smith. Please excuse me, darling, and don't worry. When I get back, everything will be fixed once and for all. Yes, we can enjoy the rest of our lives just as though the old Walter Brayling never existed.
Mr. Brayling and Mr. Smith.
Yes, Mr. Zig.
Come in, gentlemen.
We certainly will come in.
What brings you?
A good deal, Mr. Zig. Yes, indeed, a good deal.
If I might know exactly, you seem so upset.
Tell him, Henry.
You told me your marionettes were foolproof, Mr. Zig.
They are. My personal guarantee goes with each one
We
of
know
them.
all about your personal guarantee. Except that Mr. Brayling's dummy knocked him out, stuffed him in a toolbox to suffocate, and is making plans to run away with his wife.
Oh, dear.
Well, Mr. Zig?
Oh, I really don't know what to say, gentlemen. You see, I work alone. I make these marionettes myself so that I can see to it personally that there are no errors. However, even the finest craftsman can make a mistake once in a while.
What Mr. Brayling and I would like to know, Mr. Zig, is exactly what are you planning to do to stop this over-ambitious robot?
Well, of course, we shall have to recover B2 first, and then I will simply dismantle him.
He doesn't seem to want to be dismantled, Mr. Zig. In fact, I think you'll have trouble catching him.
Maybe I can save you the trouble, gentlemen.
B2.
Look out. He has a gun.
I thought I'd find you here when I discovered the tool chest empty.
Now, look, B2, whatever you're planning to do, you won't get away with it.
I think I will.
Mr. Zig, can't you do something?
I'm afraid I can't think of anything.
I'll save you the trouble, because I'm going to kill the three of you.
Oh, you won't get away with it.
No? You forget that Gloria and I will be on a plane to Rio in a few hours. All right, Mr. Zig. You first.
Oh, now see here. This isn't fair. I created you. You can't do it.
Grab him. I've got him quick. Quick, that hammer. Well, that's the end of Brayling, too.
Oh, thank heaven. Henry, he got Zig right through the...
Oh, holy jumping catfish.
Henry, look at him. Look at Zig.
Nothing but a mass of coils and springs, just like Brayling, too.
Well, he's nothing but a marionette.
He's no different from... Walter, you know what this means?
It's incredible.
A marionette building other marionettes.
But someone must have built Mr. Zig originally.
Well, perhaps Mr. Zig turned on whoever built him the same way that Brayling, too, turned on you.
Well, at any rate, we'll never know.
I wonder how many of these things are walking around among us.
Oh, I shudder to think of it.
Some of our best friends might be... Come on, we got to get out of here.
But the police?
Don't be a fool. There's been no crime committed here. All the police will find is two oversized puppets with the springs coming out of them.
But they seem so lifelike.
They're only machinery. You've got to remember that.
Well, what'll I tell Gloria?
If I were you, Brayling, I wouldn't tell Gloria a thing. I'd simply pick up that other ticket to Rio and take her on a honeymoon.
What about you, Henry? What are you going to do?
Me? I'm going home and give Nettie a kiss that'll singe her hair. I'll even forgive her for taking that $10,000 out of the bank without telling me. You know, when I think of what might have happened if I'd gone through with this marionette thing, what makes a fella realize how lucky he is to be married to a decent woman. Let's go. Nettie! Where are you, sweetheart?
In here, darling.
I've missed you today. Come here.
Oh, Henry. Oh, you look tired, darling. Can I do something for you? Just tell me. I'm yours to command.
Ah, a man's a fool to jeopardize a nice home and a loving wife like you. You do love me, don't you, Nettie?
You know I do. Here, let me get your slippers on.
Ah, feels good to sit back on the sofa and relax. You don't know what a trying day I've had.
I can see you're all upset. It isn't anything I've done, is it, dearest?
Well, in a way, something you've done is connected with it.
What's that, darling?
The money.
Money?
I know you want to surprise me with the house, darling, but really you shouldn't have taken that money out of the bank without consulting me.
Henry, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Now, Nettie.
But I don't.
Nettie.
Oh, you're so upset, darling. If it's anything important, let's talk about it later. Meanwhile, why don't you just put your head on my shoulder and rest?
I must admit that sounds enticing.
Here. Let me make you comfortable. There. Now you just close your eyes. That's it.
Nettie.
Yes, darling.
You hear something?
No, darling.
You sure?
Like what?
Well, like the ticking of a clock.
No.
Well, strange, I don't hear it now, but when I had my ear against your chest... Oh, no. Oh, no.
What are you talking about,
No, I
darling?
won't believe it. You are my Nettie, aren't you? You're a real live flesh and blood. Oh, she couldn't have done that to me. Not Nettie. But I hear it. And it's coming from you. It's coming from you.
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of... Next week, Dimension X moves to a new day and time. It will originate in New York on Saturdays from 8 to 8:30 p.m., beginning September 8th. Consult your local newspaper for the exact day and time in your locality. And don't miss Mary Leinster's story of Deep Space, First Contact.
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Marrionetes, Incorporated, written for radio by George Leffert, from the story by Ray Bradbury. Featured in the cast were Kermit Murdoch as Henry, Martin Rudy as Brayling, and Ross Martin as Brayling, too. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman. Fred Collins speaking. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
Dragnet, the story of your police force, is next on...
The underwater city of Euclidia is being deserted. One at a time, just as fast as they can come up through the surface airlock, the Euclideans are coming aboard the Gregory boat and going to their quarters below the decks. Mrs. Gregory has chartered this small steamer, which is large enough to safely accommodate the Euclideans, and plans to take them back to the United States, where they will be placed in a scientific colony established for them there, and allowed to continue their work under guard. In the radio cabin of the boat, Mrs. Gregory and Joan have been getting weather reports in preparation for their 4,000-mile trip back to Los Angeles.
It is well along into the afternoon, Mother.
Yes, Joan, dear. Nearly 4 o'clock. That steady parade of Euclideans has been coming up over the side and going below since daylight this morning.
They look very strange, do they not? I can realize that since I have seen your world. I should not like to go back to those drab uniforms of Euclidean cloth and that cold, hard, scientific manner of living.
That's all over now, Joan. And our adventures will soon be over. We'll live quietly at my home in Los Angeles, and you'll go to school with Jerry.
Jerry says I know too much to go to school, but I do not agree with him. I believe I should go to school, if only to learn to behave exactly as others in your world do.
Yes, that will have value to you. And the association with other young people, boys and girls near your own age, will provide a lot of fun for you.
It will seem strange, but very nice to live your life.
Hello there.
Come in, Jerry.
And will you please close the door?
Oh, sure. But I wanted to keep an eye on those Euclideans.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but I'm a little nervous. For 7 or 8 hours now, I've heard those feet shuffling past this door.
Watch those shapeless uniforms and the dull, leaden faces of the Euclideans.
Yeah, well, I guess it would get kind of sort of tiresome.
Just listen a moment, Jerry.
Darling, they do get on your nerves. The sound of their shuffling feet. I'll close the door.
Oh, thanks, Jerry. That's better.
Oh, gee, Mrs. Gregory, you're all upset about this thing.
Mother is not accustomed to being in charge of a boat with 250 prisoners on board.
Oh, sure, but the danger's all over now.
I hope you're right, Jerry. But a 4,000-mile trip with a boatload of Euclideans seems to offer plenty of opportunity for trouble.
They're not going to do anything. There's no fight left in that bunch.
I feel that is correct, Jerry. Never have I seen anyone look so hopeless.
You know, I think most of them are glad it's happened. I guess they weren't any too happy on Euclidia.
That was the idea Tex and I had when we agreed to this wild plan of trying to capture 250 people and take them home on an ordinary boat.
I heard some of the leading scientists say that they would welcome the opportunity of working under better conditions.
They're an amazing crowd of people, thinking nothing but scientific advancement, willing to be taken prisoners, to live anywhere and to work anywhere, just so they're allowed to work on their inventions and discoveries.
Yeah, and I'll bet you that we'll never have a bit of trouble with them after we put them in that place you bought.
They'll have plenty of room, at least. And the buildings and equipment are good. It was a very complete little college a few years ago.
But, Mother, why should a college be forced to close? Is there no one who wants to learn?
Well, plenty of them. But they want to learn in the big colleges with the best football teams.
Football? Do they attend the higher institutions of learning to study football?
Oh, lots of them do.
But I thought football was a form of recreation, a game.
It is, Joan, dear. But football is also the magnet which draws thousands of students to the larger schools annually.
How strange.
Well, maybe. But I like it all right.
Jerry.
Want me?
Captain.
Better run along, Jerry. Tex wants you.
Okay. Hey, looks like that's about the end of the Euclidean parade.
Oh.
That was the last of them, Skipper?
Then we might go out on deck, Mother.
Not yet, Joan. Tex asked us to stay here, and we'll stay until he tells us to come out.
Oh, okay. See you later.
Oh, thank goodness that's all over.
And now, all that we have to do is sail home.
Yes, that's all. Just a little 4,000-mile trip.
It will not prove difficult, I think.
Well, we've done our part, Joan. We've got all the weather reports the land stations can give us. And it looks like fair weather all the way home.
May I come in, Mrs. Gregory?
Of course you may, Elaine. Sit down here.
Thank you.
You must be very tired.
I am tired, but tired with the satisfaction of a task well performed.
And Euclideans are all aboard?
Why, yes. Yes, they're all aboard.
Elaine, has anything happened?
Nothing. The transfer has been without incident.
But you hesitated before you answered, Mother.
I am sorry. I did not mean to hesitate.
Something is wrong, Elaine? Tex? Jerry?
They are quite all right. I believe the captain suffered a disappointment, but he will tell you about it.
What sort of disappointment could it be?
If Tex wants us to wait for his explanation, we'll have to wait for it. It can't be anything very serious.
Mother, is that not the signal to start?
So soon? Yes. The engines are gathering speed, and the boat is beginning to move. Oh, we're underway.
I thought it would not be long. The captain gave orders to the 3 men who are to remain in the underwater city with the animals until another boat arrives to take them off.
Who stayed, Elaine?
2 members of your crew, and the engineer, Mr. McLeod.
Mr. McLeod will be with his pigs once more.
I'll bet Mac didn't like that job any too well.
He volunteered for it, and the captain thought an engineer should be in charge.
And after the cattle, birds, and chickens are taken out of the city?
Then it is to be flooded and destroyed.
It seems a waste of splendid effort to ruin that beautiful city. The Euclideans have spent more than 10 years building parts of it.
I know that, Elaine. But its existence would cause trouble. Trouble between nations as to who would claim it, and trouble among men for its scientific treasures.
I believe you are right, Mother. It will be better so.
Oh, Tex, it's really over?
Yes, Pat. It's all over. I hope.
You hope?
Elaine.
Yes, Captain?
I hate to ask you to do anything more until you get some rest, but you're the only one who can do this with any degree of certainty.
That is quite all right, Captain.
You go and join Jerry at the stern hatch. He'll explain what it is you have to do and report to me as soon as you finish.
Surely, Captain. Whatever it is, we will let you know the result at once.
Thanks, Elaine. And I promise you can sleep after that.
Tex, what's all this mystery?
Oh, probably nothing, Pat. I'm not sure yet.
You are worried, Captain Bradford?
Well, not exactly worried, but I'm a little disturbed about something.
Well, what is it, Tex?
G47 has disappeared.
What? G47?
Right.
You mean he didn't come aboard?
At least I didn't see him come aboard.
Then he's hiding down in Euclidia, and we've put off without him.
But that would be dangerous.
It would, but I don't think that's what's happened.
What else could it be, Tex?
G47 doesn't tell all he knows to anyone. He might have a trick or two up his sleeve.
Where do you think he is, Captain?
On board this boat.
But you just said, Tex,
I said I didn't see him come aboard, and I didn't. Or at least I didn't recognize him.
But what would be his object in disguising himself?
No telling, but I've got an idea he's on board.
Wouldn't one of the other chief scientists know?
Probably, but they wouldn't talk to me. I tried to get some news out of three of them. Thales, Cheops, and Octavo. They merely said they didn't know where he was.
Do you think it's possible he might have hidden somewhere in Euclidia?
Yes, Mother. That is quite possible.
Oh, Tex, those three men you left down there. They'd be helpless in G47's hands.
I thought of that. But for some reason, I'm not afraid of it. There's more to G47's disappearance than a simple hiding trick.
But what could it be?
That I don't know.
Was that the errand on which you sent Jerry and Elaine?
Yes. Elaine would be able to recognize G47 if she was looking for a disguise. And Jerry will probably say the wrong thing and make some Euclidean so angry that they'll tell him what he wants to know.
I could have helped them, Captain.
I know it, Joan, but I thought it best to keep you out of there. Some of the Euclideans may feel that you and your mother started all this trouble for them when we went searching for you long ago. I think it's just as well if you don't go down into their quarters.
I agree with you, Tex. And I think that should mean for the entire voyage.
By all means.
Very well. If you wish it.
Ahoy, the boat. McLeod to Captain Bradford. Ahoy, the boat there.
Tex, it's Mac.
Didn't take him long to get down to that Euclidean radio and figure out how to work it.
This is McLeod. Can you hear me?
Hello, Mac. This is Tex. How did you find everything?
Those men left everything in perfect condition. We'll do very nicely until you get another boat down here.
Good for you, Mac. Now remember that if anything happens, you can use that small submarine in the lower lock. I took all my solvent away from that lock. And in an emergency, get out of there with your crew and start along the course to Los Angeles.
Nothing is going to happen. We'll take care of things. And now I must get along and feed the pigs. Good luck to you all.
Good luck, Mac, and don't take any chances. Well, that's the last we'll hear from Mac in some time.
Mr. McLeod is a fine man.
He certainly is. And Mac is the only man who could go into that underground city with two companions and calmly set about feeding the pigs while he begins the 30-day wait.
Will it take so long to get another boat to him?
The kind of boat we'll need to take out several hundred animals and birds. Won't be any speedboat.
Well, here we are.
And?
Nothing.
No sign of G47?
He is not among the Euclideans.
Then where is he?
We don't know. And I don't think the Euclideans know either.
But they must know.
I believe not.
What's it all about, Elaine?
Thales seemed willing enough to talk, and I feel that he was speaking the truth. He has absolutely no idea of G47's whereabouts.
Well, this certainly puts us in a fine position.
Yeah, with that guy running loose in the world, well, it won't be long until another of these crazy colonies will be springing up someplace.
That is right, Jerry.
Tex, can't we do anything about it?
Apparently not. What else did Thales say?
Well, he claims that G47 disappeared right after we left in that rocket plane.
But what could he use for transportation?
I can't figure it. Those submarine locks were still magnetized when we got back.
And he could not take a boat out through that small surface lock.
Not any boat we saw there. But G47 didn't tell the rest of the scientists all his tricks. Well, I could tell from the way they acted, G47 was just about as mysterious to them as he was to us.
Well, he's gone, and there's nothing we can do about it. At least we have the rest of his colony. And G47 is only one man. It will take him a long time to build another Magic Island or another Euclidean.
Nevertheless, Tex, I'd feel a great deal more comfortable if he were safely locked in the hold with the rest of them.
Yeah, so would I. But we can't help it.
I believe I will go to my cabin and rest, if I may.
Go to it, Elaine. You've helped a lot, and when we get home, we'll try to repay you.
I had hoped to promise you a world without any more fear of G47, but I can't promise that now.
No, Mother. I am sure we will hear from G47 again.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today we begin a brand new story. A story of baseball and the discovery of a menace that will lead Superman and his friends through many dangerous adventures.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, have you heard about the 18-carat breakfast dish that sparkles with sunny cheerfulness? It's Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Yes, sir, Pep sure is a jewel of a treat. So sunny and golden you can hardly wait to start eating. That tender crispness gives you the old come-on, too. And when you do pitch in, what a flavor. A catchy flavor. A sunny golden toasted flavor. A top-notch royal flavor that your appetite can really latch on to. Believe me, gang, Kellogg's Pep sure is on the sunbeam when it comes to teasing your taste. Why, you wouldn't think of stopping until you've polished your bowl clean as a whistle, which is always a smart idea because Pep is good for you. And nowadays, it's particularly smart because the cereal grains have been picked out to help give good nourishment to fellows and girls overseas. So, gang, get hep to Kellogg's Pep. When Mom brings Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Now, the adventures of Superman. It is late afternoon. Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, the mild-mannered reporter, is in a taxicab en route to cover an important newspaper story. He is accompanied by cub reporter Jimmy Olsen, who, as manager of the Unity House baseball team, has been given permission to leave the office early in order to attend practice. Listen.
We won our last two games while you were out of town, Mr. Kent.
Oh, fine.
And if we win tomorrow, we'll be in the finals for the boys' championship in Metropolis.
Hey, that's great, Jim. Sounds like you're a top-notch manager.
Oh, no. Any manager could win with Tommy Lee on his team.
Who?
Tommy Lee, our pitcher. Boy, he's got everything. Speed, sweet curve, change of pace. He's terrific.
Wait a minute. Last time you were telling me about the team, your pitcher was a boy named Riggs, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, Chuck Riggs. That was before Tommy Lee moved into the neighborhood and joined Unity House.
Oh?
When Tommy showed us how he could throw that old baseball, Chuck had to move over.
Oh, it was kind of tough on Chuck, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. But if Tommy's a better pitcher, he deserves the job, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, of course. All other things being equal.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, baseball is a team game, Jim. To be a good team, all the players must be willing to work together. That's what teamwork means.
Oh, Tommy cooperates. He's a swell kid. Everybody likes him. That is, everybody did like him until...
Until what?
Well, I don't like to say it, but Chuck Riggs is a bit of a sorehead. He didn't like getting moved down to number 2 pitcher, and... Well, he's been trying to turn some of the guys against Tommy. I've had to crack down on him a couple of times.
Oh?
Oh, but I can handle him, though. Hey, we're coming to the Unity House ball field. Stop at the next corner, please, driver. You're coming to the game tomorrow, aren't you, Mr. Kent?
You bet. I'll be there with bells on.
Swell. Well, here's where I leave you. Thanks for the ride.
Oh, you're welcome, Jim. Good luck.
Hey, what's going on here? Break it up. Break it up, I said. Come on now, Tommy. Chuck, cut out that fighting. Break it up. Let go, Jim. I'm going to fix this guy. That's what you think. Lay off, Chuck. You too, Tommy. Now, what's this all about?
Tommy was asking for a poke on the nose.
You mean you were? You've been trying to pick a fight with me ever since I got on the team.
You're a liar.
Don't call me a liar.
Cut it out, both of you. Muggs.
Yeah, Jim?
I thought you were in charge of the team when I wasn't here. Is this the way you run things?
They were belting each other before I could stop.
What were they fighting about?
Oh, Chuck was riding Tommy all afternoon.
I was
You
not.
be quiet, Chuck. Go on, Muggs.
Well, then Tommy said Chuck called him a dirty name, and they went at it.
What did he call you, Tommy?
What's the difference? I can take care of myself.
I didn't call him nothing, that dirty...
Skip it. Now, look, Chuck. You've been acting like a sorehead ever since Tommy got to be our number 1 pitcher.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't start this fight.
I didn't say you did, but I'm telling you this for the last time.
This is a ball club, and everybody on it has got to work together. The guy who won't cooperate gets fired off the team. You get that?
What are you picking on me for? Tell her to Tommy.
That goes for everybody. There's going to be no more fighting around here. Got an important game tomorrow, and everybody's got to pull together. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Batting practice now, so up to the cage. You pitch, Tommy.
Okay, Jim.
Come on, everybody, hustle. Up on your toes. Let's play ball.
Not till you move back from the plate, Chuck.
What do you mean, move back? I'm in the pitching box.
You're leaning halfway over the plate. I might hit you with a close one.
You're putting me the side of a barn. Go on, pitch.
Okay, he's asking for it, Tommy boy. Dust him off.
No, I might hit him, Muggs. Move back, Chuck. Go on.
I'm standing right here where I'm supposed to. Why don't you admit you're just afraid I'll knock the ball over the fence and make you look bad, you yellow punk?
Why, you...
Hold it, Tommy. Didn't you hear me say there wasn't going to be any more fighting?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jim. But look how he's crowding the plate. I don't want to hit him.
Get back, Chuck. You get hit, it's your own fault. Go ahead and pitch, Tommy.
Okay, you're the boss, Jim.
Come on, quit stalling and pitch.
Yeah, come on. Here she comes. Look out, Chuck. Attaboy, Tommy boy. I missed that one by a mile.
I was off balance. I won't miss the next one.
Go on. Let's go, Tommy boy.
Nice turn, Tommy.
Look, will you please get back from the plate, Chuck?
No, I won't. Catch you, yellow banana.
Cut that out, Chuck. Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay.
Come on, let's have it.
Hit right to me, Tommy boy. Right down the old eye. This guy can't hit a balloon. Here he comes. Look out, Chuck.
Oh, gosh. I beamed him. He didn't step back.
He dropped like a log. Come on.
We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
You know, gang, Monday is a red letter day on the Superman Show because that's when we bring out a brand new Pep Dish of the Week, a tricky new way to dress up your breakfast dish of Kellogg's Pep. So, are you ready for the big announcement? Well, here goes. This week's Pep Dish of the Week is a strawberry doubleheader. That sounds good, huh? Yeah, it's a honey. Listen, pour half your serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal, in the bottom of your bowl. Then pour on a layer of crushed fresh strawberries. Add the rest of your Pep and put on a double topper of a few big ripe berries that you've saved out. Then milk and sugar, and that's a strawberry doubleheader. Sure makes a hit with your morning appetite. Kellogg's Pep does things for fruit, you know. It's crisp and it's crunchy and tender and loaded with its own full, sparkling sunshine flavor. Why, Pep is such a smooth dish, you're busy spooning it up until you've finished off every last delicate flake. And that's the hep thing to do, especially nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. Keep that in mind when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Pour your Pep carefully and polish off all you pour out. That's important, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
A few minutes ago, Chuck Riggs, deposed pitcher on the Unity House baseball team, was beaned by Tommy Lee while deliberately crowding the plate in batting practice. Jimmy Olsen, Tommy, and Muggs revived the boy with water. Now, in the locker room, Chuck is tying his street shoes as Jimmy, Tommy, and Muggs stand by.
How does your head feel, Chuck?
Okay, I guess.
You're lucky I wasn't killed leaning halfway over the plate like a dope.
I wasn't leaning over the plate.
Yeah,
you
were,
were,
too.
I was not. Tommy beat me on purpose.
He didn't, and you know it.
Of course he knows it. He's just talking like a sawhead.
Okay, you guys can stand up for that punk if you want. But wait till you see what happens.
What do you mean?
What's gonna happen?
You'll find out. And so will he.
Now, look, Chuck, it was an accident. I'm sorry. Let's shake hands.
That's the way to talk, Tommy. Well, go on, Chuck. Shake hands with him.
Me shake hands with him? Ha! Nothing doing.
Why, of all the sawheads for 2 cents...
Wait, Muggs. Chuck, you were warned to step back, and you didn't. So what happened was your fault. Now, be a nice guy, admit it, and shake hands with Tommy.
No, I won't shake hands with him.
Okay, then. That makes you a bum loser and a sorehead, and you don't belong on the team. You're fired.
Okay, I'm fired. But I'll get you for this, Jim Olsen. And I'll get Tommy, too. You'll see.
Furious, Chuck Riggs stalks from the locker room, mounts his bicycle, and rides home. As he dismounts at the small garage behind his house, he is met by his uncle, a tall, powerfully built man who regards him sharply.
What's the matter with you, Chuck?
Who, me?
Oh.
Nothing, Uncle Matt.
Nothing, And what's that big lump doing on your forehead? Were you fighting?
No, sir.
Don't lie to me, Chuck.
I'm not lying. A kid beamed me with a baseball.
Beamed you? Who did it?
Oh, just one of the kids on the team. It was an accident, I guess.
You guess?
Well, I guess I was kind of crowding the plate in batting practice. I was pretty sore at this kid, Tommy Lee. But he beat me out for number one pitcher on the
Wait
team.
a minute. What's the kid's name?
Lee. Tommy Lee. He's a pretty good pitcher.
Did this Lee kid just move into the neighborhood about a month ago?
That's right. You know him?
Well, if he's the one I think he is, his father just got appointed to the health department as a bacteriologist.
I don't know what that is, but the new mayor just did appoint him to the health department.
Oh.
I heard Tommy telling Jim Olsen and Muggs about it.
Yeah, he's the one then. Say, this works out just fine.
What does, Uncle Matt?
This lead boy beating you with a baseball gives me just the angle I've been looking for. Now look, Chuck, and listen carefully.
Huh?
This kid deliberately hit you on the head with a baseball, see? He was trying to kill you.
No, he wasn't. I told you how it happened.
He was trying to kill you, I say. I know this boy, and I know his father. They're bad.
Gee whiz, Uncle Matt.
You listen to what I say. They're dangerous, Chuck, these people. Unless we do something about this now, they'll go even further than beating you just the next time.
But, gosh, why?
Oh.
Tommy already got my position on the team. He don't want nothing
Now, you
else.
listen to me, Chuck, and remember what I have to say. When Tommy Lee beamed you today, it wasn't any accident. He did it on purpose, do you understand?
Well, gee, I didn't think so, but maybe...
He did it on purpose, I tell you. He was afraid you'd win back your position on the team, so he wanted to get you out of the way. Now, you remember that.
Okay, Uncle Mac.
Yes, now one other thing. This Jim Olsen you mentioned. Didn't you tell me he was the manager of the Unity House team?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He made you second-string pitcher and then stood up for Tommy Lee against you.
Yeah. He's been on Tommy's side ever since he came out for the team.
Okay. We'll take care of him, too.
Take care of him? What do you mean, Uncle Matt?
Don't ask questions, Chuck. Go in and eat your supper. And you and I are going someplace.
Yeah? Where?
To a place where no boy has ever been before. A meeting of real Americans who know how to take care of these Tommy Lees and others like them. Now, go ahead and eat your supper. And look, don't say anything to your mother, because this is going to be a secret meeting. Now, hurry. We've got important work to do tonight.
Strangely uneasy, Chuck Riggs looks up at the tall, powerful figure of his uncle, whose eyes blaze with an evil fire the boy has never noticed in them before. What is the secret meeting to which Matt Riggs is taking the boy? What is behind his insistence that Tommy Lee had purposely beamed Chuck? Evil, subversive forces are set to work against Jim Olsen and Tommy Lee tomorrow. So don't miss the next episode in our thrilling new story, fellows and girls. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, your dog's as good as any champ, isn't he? So see that he gets Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food like lots of champion dogs do. Mix Grow Pup in with his table scraps of meat and fat, and it'll give him lots of muscle, help keep him husky and strong. He can take his pick of 3 different kinds of Grow Pup, too. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellet. They're all just full of wonderful meaty flavor. Ask your mother to get Grow Pup today. It's good for champs, good for your dog, too. Remember, that's Kellogg's Grow Pup. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are a passenger aboard a submarine, making its last peaceful voyage across the sea. While unknown to you, the captain has a plan, which, if it succeeds, will mean for you and the entire crew a fate from which there can be no escape.
So listen now as Escape brings you Marianne Mosner and Francis Rosenwald's exciting story, The Log.
When I was a cub reporter, my boss told me, be there. Don't let your own emotions color your story. Stick to the facts. So, these are the facts. This is the way it happened. I met Captain Jan Zabatos in a Scandinavian port. During the last war, he'd been in command of a submarine, the only sub of a nation that fought the dictators side by side with the Allies. When he was finally forced into this neutral port, the captain preferred internment to surrender. After that, his nation went out of the business of being a nation. He was left behind with his ship, unwanted by the Allies, and a burden to the government that had become his permanent host. To pay for the vessel's berth and maintenance, the authorities turned her into a tourist's exhibit, permitting her skipper to stay aboard as caretaker and tourist guide. We met during one of those guided tours.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the tour of the SS Seagull, a great ship with a peerless war record. It was my honor and privilege to guide her across hostile waters as master of this man of war that gave battle to the last torpedo. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. You are very welcome all, and this way if you please.
You got a few minutes, Captain? I'm Bill Rawlins, New York Globe. I enjoyed your tour a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Rawlins. Always glad to talk to gentlemen of the press. I presume you would like to write a story on the Seagull?
Well, to be honest about it, sir, I'd rather write about her skipper.
I am honored. But without the Seagull, you won't have much of a story. She and I are comrades in arms.
The war has been over a long time, Captain.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Haven't you ever thought of going home?
Mr. Rawlins, this is my home, and always will be.
As we walked across the deck, the Seagull came to life the way her skipper talked about her exploits at sea. And I saw 1,500 tons of steel that had never faltered, never failed. I was busy taking notes when the man came up the gangplank, stocky, brisk, dressed in a natty gray suit, a briefcase under his arm.
How do, gentlemen? Where do I find the man in charge?
I'm in command of the Seagull, Captain Jan Zabatos. What can I do for you?
The name's Andrews, here's my card. I represent the Liverpool office of the Marine Salvage and Surplus Corporation. You mind if I look around?
The next tour of the Seagull commences at 16 o'clock.
That's fine. You go right ahead. I know my way around ships. Bought and sold them all my life. This is my first sub.
I'm afraid you must be mistaken, sir. The Seagull is not for sale.
Not anymore. My company just bought her. I closed the deal yesterday.
Look, this can't be. Nobody has authority to sell my ship.
The government has, according to international law. This isn't your ship anymore, Captain. Do you realize what it costs this country to keep her docked here?
I suppose I knew that this was going to happen. Excuse me, sir, what does your company plan to do with the Seagull?
Scrap her. What else is she good for?
Yes, of course. What else is she? You plan to break her up here?
No, we'll have to tow her across to Liverpool.
Mr. Andrews, the Seagull is perfectly capable to sail under her own power.
All the way across the North Sea? No. It must be pretty rusty by now.
My ship is in as good condition as she was 10 years ago when we put in this port.
I know how you feel, Skipper, but if you don't mind, I'd rather play it safe.
No, I don't think I made myself clear. Sir, this ship has had the finest maintenance that you find aboard any vessel. I have seen to that myself. Would you care to go below and look about, sir?
Sure, why not?
Then if you will follow me. Rust and corrosion, I understand.
She was a beauty, all right. Her diesels reposing in gleaming silence, Her eye a Zeiss periscope set to scan the horizon. Her tubes ready for torpedoes. I felt a strange affinity toward this ship that to Andrews meant just so many tons of metal to be turned into X amount of dollars, while to her captain she was a whole world of tradition. A world now coming to an end.
And still, I suppose you think that the Seagull should be dismantled and scrapped?
Well, I'm afraid that's what we bought her for.
Then may I respectfully make a last request on her behalf?
I'll be happy to oblige if it's anything reasonable.
Don't tow her away like a crippled ship. Let me guide her on this last journey. All we need is 1 week, a skeleton crew. My services are free.
I don't know. All right. I'll tell you what, Skipper. I'll check with my company and get in touch with you.
Well, that sounds like a good idea to me, Andrews. You'd be saving your company quite a bit of money.
My firm's allergic to taking chances.
You don't take chances with the Seagull.
The cold logic of the dollar in the bank, not the captain's last request, persuaded the scrap middleman to take a well-calculated risk on the Seagull and her master. Mr. Andrews was to accompany the ship on her final journey. I requested and was granted permission to go along and cover the voyage for my paper. It was a gray, overcast morning when we boarded the Seagull. She was straining gently at her anchors with the last of the ebb tide.
I hope Skipper hired a decent cook. Nothing like sea air to give a man an appetite.
I'm not looking forward to a picnic, Mr. Andrews. All I want is a story.
You won't find it in this barge, Rawlins. But I can give you plenty of stories. My company isn't averse to publicity.
When we reached the bridge, we found a changed man. Captain Jan Zabados, commander of the submarine Seagull, wearing a freshly creased uniform, windbreaker, and his well-worn battle cap.
Anchor secure, sir.
All engines back aft.
All engines back aft, sir.
Course 005.
005, sir.
Port engine back 2/3. Starboard engine ahead, standard.
Port engine back 2/3. Starboard engine ahead, standard, sir.
Stand by, all hands.
Standing by, sir.
Now, well, gentlemen, we are off.
A little chilly this morning, Skipper.
Perfect weather.
Makes you hungry anyway. What time do we...
Breakfast will be served in my quarters in 10 minutes, Mr. Andrews.
Come on down, Rawlins. Let's get some chow.
We had breakfast. It was better than Andrews had expected. And he was in an expansive mood when we returned to the bridge. He'd fortified himself with a thick cigar which stuck out of his mouth like a stubby finger pointed at the captain.
How's it going, Skipper?
Passing the 3-mile zone, sir.
Well, it seems to be clearing up. Maybe we can do a little deep-sea fishing, huh, Rollins?
I've never fished from a submarine, Mr. Andrews.
Sorry, gentlemen. No fishing. This is not a pleasure cruise.
That's the step, Skipper. Business before pleasure.
And I agree, sir. You will leave the bridge now.
Why? What's wrong?
Nothing, sir. We are getting ready to submerge.
What are you talking about? Submerge? On whose orders?
My orders, Mr. Andrews.
Nothing doing. That's against regulations, and you know it. This trip is to be made on the surface unless it's an emergency.
Clear diving rudders.
Diving rudders clear, sir.
Did you hear what I said?
Ready the tanks.
Tanks standing by, sir.
That's enough, Zabatos. You know what the orders are. I'm not going to allow you...
I must inform you, sir, that I am in sole command of the Seagull. I shall surrender her to no one but her rightful owner, my country.
Your country? You've got no country. It's a satellite.
Then I shall sail the seas until I have one again.
You know what you're saying? That's piracy.
Then, Mr. Andrews, I shall be a pirate, shan't I? Clear the deck. Diving stations.
Diving stations.
Out of your mind.
Passengers below, please. Now, that's an order, Mr. Andrews.
Standing by, sir.
Well, I'd found my story. When we slipped beneath the surface of the North Sea, the captain let the men have rum and brandy to celebrate the Seagull's return to what he called active duty.
He's crazy. He's gone stark raving crazy. Look at the crew that madman picked himself. Well, we'll see about this. Hey, Bosun! Bosun! Come over here.
Aye, sir.
Know how to handle this ship?
I know my job, sir. How would you like a bonus, say $1,000?
I like it fine, sir. All right. Take over. Never mind the captain. I'll back you up.
I'm sorry, sir. He's my captain.
I'm in charge of this ship. He's under my orders.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I'm under his orders.
That's how it went with the rest of the crew. They were all men without a country, handpicked by the captain, fanatically devoted to their master and the ship that was their world. In the meantime, I noticed some activity on the part of the captain and his radio operator. A constant flow of communications between the ship's wireless and her master's tiny cabin. Andrews and I went there.
Gary?
The captain was sitting on the bunk, poring over a chart-filled table.
Mind if you and I have a little talk? I'm quite busy. 5 minutes, Mr. Andrews.
Thank you. Don't you think this farce has gone far enough? You'll be running out of supplies, you know, and then what?
The sea is abundant with stores of all kinds, Mr. Andrews.
How do you mean?
I shall requisition what I need.
You can't be serious.
Can't I? I have guns, fore and aft, shells to go with them. Give me time, I shall obtain torpedoes as well.
You'll never get away with this.
That remains to be seen. My wireless has picked up the Blenheim Castle, an English freighter. We will sight her by nightfall.
You're going to stop her?
Exactly, Mr. Andrews. There are a few supplies that we need. I am sure her captain will oblige before continuing on his way.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, maybe it rained where you are today. The United States is pretty big, and it's hard for somebody on a coast-to-coast network to keep track of the weather everywhere. But even if they did, remember, it's been a very dry summer. The danger of forest fires is on every hand. Please be careful with those campfires, those cigarettes, those lighted matches. And now, back to Escape.
Approximately 8 hours later, the bosun's pipe shrilled as the Seagull rose stealthily to the ocean surface. Dead ahead in a choppy sea loomed the massive hull of the freighter Blenheim Castle, her foaming nose eerily phosphorescent, the position lights glimmering across the sea. Our searchlight reached up to her bridge with a long white finger. We clearly made out the tanker's captain standing on his bridge in a splotch of white glare, bellowing through a megaphone.
Hey! Ho, 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 ho! Heave to! Coming alongside! Who are you? Raider! Pass a line! Raider! I won't pass a cow's tail! Where's the war? It is starting now! That's a bloody lie! Heave away! Ready above, or you will be sunk! Why, you kettle-bottom, knock-down hearth-rater! I'll bust your cat boats under my water! Follow my orders, or I open fire! Why don't you back up and cook off? I give you 3 minutes. I'll give you a kick in the belly.
incredible. Here we were at peace, and Captain Zabatos had started his own private war. He had the guns, and the tanker's captain had only his ship. Before the Seagull's gun crew could get a bearing, the tanker lurched forward, picking up speed. Wheeled hard over, bent on ramming us. Our guns started to fire, blasting away at the tanker. But it kept coming on. Closer, closer. The sharp bow cutting through the choppy sea.
Dive! 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 Dive!
We weren't fast enough. There was a grinding lurch, and we knew the Seagull had been damaged in the collision with the freighter, but we couldn't tell how badly. The first realization of disaster came when we saw the captain, his hair damp with perspiration, eyes gleaming feverishly, and a face turned ashen gray.
Nobody leaves his station without my orders. You gentlemen stay out of the way.
I'm not going to take orders from you or anybody else. I represent the owners of this ship.
You do?
You heard me, Zabatos.
Then tell your owner she has been rammed.
I'll hold you responsible.
As her commander, I accept sole responsibility for ship and crew, including you and Mr. Rollins.
That's very noble, mister, but I'm a businessman. What's the extent of the damage?
Conning tower smashed and the scope tube cracked.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, surface, send an SOS.
I never have sent an SOS, and I never will.
That's your business. I'm an American citizen, and so is Mr. Rollins. You can't hold us against our
You
will.
will be put ashore when conditions are favorable.
Let me set you straight, Zabatos. If you want to go down in misery, I'm not stopping you. But you can't force me to stick around until this tin can's full of holes. I want to get out of here. Now, I order you for the last time, surface and signal for help.
Andrews, if you wish to leave now, you may take a escape hatch.
You're crazy.
Not at all. The damage is trifling. But since you feel so frightened of your life, I suggest that you leave.
So help me, when we get out of this, I'm going to have you busted. Jail. Hung if I can.
Get out of my way if you please. I have no time to discuss the matter with you.
Come on, Andrews.
Whose side are you on, anyway, Rollins?
Nobody's. I just want to live. The hours passed slowly at the ocean bottom. The stillness echoing the attempts of the men working to repair the damage. The air was getting foul, breathing becoming more difficult.
Storage battery's going, sir.
Then dim the lights, bosun.
Oxygen's running low.
Ration it.
I've got 2 men in sick bay already.
All right. All right. Carry on.
Sir.
What is it, bosun?
The men need air. It's very bad aft.
All right. Very well, bosun. We go up. All engines ready.
All engines ready, sir.
Clear pressure tanks.
Clearing tank, sir.
Diving rudder. Standard.
Vessels approaching overhead, sir.
Ease rudder, hold tanks.
Surface vessel calling on out channel, sir.
Don't answer.
British subchase closing in, sir. Request ship-to-ship communication.
All right. I talk to them. Stand by.
SS Seagull coming in. Go ahead. NS-127.
Are you in trouble, Seagull?
No trouble, sir.
Surface at once.
State your conditions.
None.
Then I regretfully refuse her.
Following orders, Seagull. Come up, or we drop depth charges.
Do so, then.
You can't get away. We've got a sonar fix on you.
No surrender.
We're ready with depth charges, Seagull.
Wait!
Get back, Andrew! The Americans down here! We block communications!
The first depth charge was a warning, followed by another coming closer, and another still closer. The pressure was enormous. The ship rocked from bow to stern and started to take water.
All engines ahead full!
All engines ahead full, sir.
Course 02, standard.
Course 02, standard, sir.
Oh, quiet, Captain. This is wrong. It can't help now.
Stand out of my way, Mr. Rawlins.
You're a naval officer, not a murderer. Your ship is finished. You have no right to kill your crew. And that's what it's going to mean if you don't stop.
This is my ship. My life. No, you don't understand.
It's still murder.
Standing by for your orders, sir.
Well, what are you going to do?
Oh. Surface.
Surface!
Surface! Stand by, surface!
No response, sir. Tanks won't operate.
All engines stop!
All engines stop!
Now what?
I seem to have no choice. Do I? Stand by to abandon ship.
Abandon ship!
That was almost the end of it. The sub couldn't get up to the surface. She could only go down. And the way she was taking water, it wasn't going to be long. The men lined up outside the escape chamber, and one by one they shook hands with the captain as they moved by. You could see in his eyes what they meant to him, and in their low voices, their feelings for him.
Goodbye, Captain. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Captain. Goodbye, Captain.
Goodbye. Then it was Andrew's turn to go.
The bosun is in the lock. He will give you your instructions as to how to get to the surface.
I lived through this, Zapatos. I'm going to see
I know. I am sorry for the discomfort you have been caused. Goodbye, Mr. Andrews.
Coming, Rollins?
Sure. You go ahead. One at a time, you know.
Well, good luck.
And to you.
Now, Mr. Rawlins, huh? I imagine you will have quite a story to write for your newspaper.
Well, let's forget that. It's not important. What about you? Andrews isn't kidding, you know. Once you get up there...
I wonder if... Would you do me one last service?
Of course. He got his log out and started to write. I looked over his shoulder as he made his last entry. All men off ship. Strong list to port. Storage batteries 0. Oxygen 20. Ship secure. Signed, Captain Jan Zabatos, Commander, SS Seagull.
You oblige me by taking this log up with you. It can be fastened to your belt.
Well, why don't you carry it?
There are one or two other things I must take with me.
Now, look.
No, Mr. Rawlins, go on. I will follow you.
Yes, but...
Please go on.
Okay. Hurry up, though, will you? She won't last long. I got up to the surface. A boat from the sub-chaser picked me up 5 minutes later. Every man of the crew and Andrews was safe. After that, we cruised about for hours, waiting, hoping that Sabatos would appear. But he didn't. I should have known he'd stay with the Seagull. The skipper of the chaser understood what had happened a lot better after he'd read the log. I guess seamen have a feeling about such things. Well, that's the story. That's all there is to it.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you The Log, a story by Marianne Mosner and Francis Rosenwald, starring Lawrence Dobkin and Byron Kane. Featured in the cast were Alan Reed, Kurt Martell, Frank Gerstle, Eric Snowden, Richard Peel, and Jim Nusser. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week...
Walking the streets of an Indian city, terrifying, sweltering streets, while the man you fear has already made his mark on you, a mark from which there can be no escape.
So listen next week, when Escape will bring you James Henderson's frightening story, The Untouchable. I Confess is the graphic title of tomorrow night's Lux Radio Theater film play adaptation. Cary Grant and Phyllis Thaxter co-star. You'll remember I Confess as one of Alfred Hitchcock's most suspenseful thrillers, and you'll enjoy every minute of it on most of these same stations tomorrow night when CBS Radio presents the Lux Radio Theater. This is Roy Rowan speaking. Remember, you can hear Jack Benny every Sunday night on the CBS Radio Network.
Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston, the hot whole wheat cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Visions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are flying over Crater Valley on Planet X when they sight Prince Baccarati's ship on the ground. Quickly landing, they see the prince struggling with a native and rush to the rescue.
Is Baccarati all right, sir? He's beating that old man. He's trying to drag him into his ship. Let's get him. All right, Baccarati, break it up. I'll get his ray gun, sir. Let go of me, Corey. Commander, the old man's unconscious. Baccarati knocked him out. Getting pretty brave, aren't you, Baccarati, beating up an old man all by yourself?
Not quite by myself. Get them, Malengo. Use your paralyzer ray.
No.
You got both of them, Malengo. This is the last time Corey will meddle in the affairs of Planet X.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure under the sea of Planet X.
Hi, I'm a member of the Blue Demons Club here in Los Angeles, and this is Dick Beale.
Hiya.
Boy, there's lots of excitement around our club. All us Blue Demons are trying to win that big rocket ship clubhouse in the Name the Planet contest.
And the $1,500 that comes with it.
Yeah, what a prize. A huge rocket clubhouse on wheels and $1,500 cash. We Blue Demons have entered the contest 4 times already, so we're way ahead of some of the other clubs. And we're going to get lots more entries, but there's not much time.
Hey, come on, let's get down to the Weatherbird shoe store and pick up some more entry blanks.
Wait a minute. I want to tell the guys about the Rocket Clubhouse. What a giant. 10,000 pounds. 35 feet long. It's bigger than an airplane.
Wow, we and all our dads are going to take turns driving the big truck that pulls the Rocket Clubhouse and take all us Blue Demons on camping and hiking trips.
And how about those 750 Schwinn varsity bikes being given away? Schwinn's the swellest bike ever. It's got 3-speed gear shift, so it goes like everything, and 2-wheel handbrakes, so it stops plenty fast.
Hey, come on, will you? We got to get down to the Weatherbird shoe store.
Yeah, and you get more of those swell space coins. You get 3 space coins absolutely free and an album, too, when you get your Name the Planet contest entry blank from the Weatherbird shoe dealer. And there's another space coin in every package of hot Ralston cereal.
Hey, quit talking so much. Let's go to the Weatherbird shoe store. There's not much time left to enter the contest, and we got to make sure the Blue Demons win that Rocket Clubhouse.
Okay, I'm coming.
Gang, get your pals together. See your Weatherbird shoe dealer and get lots of swell space coins and contest entry blanks absolutely free. You don't have to buy a thing, but hurry. Time's getting short. Get going on the Name the Planet contest today at your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure under the sea of Planet X. For the past 2 days, Space Patrol ships and some commercial ships have picked up a strange spaceophone signal. It registers for a few seconds and then disappears. Right now, in Commander Corey's central office on the man-made planet Terra, Buzz and Happy sit before a sensitive receiver as the cryptic signal streams in from across the vastness of space.
What is it, sir?
The code signal has been picked up repeatedly from Planet X.
Planet X?
Notice the pattern. It's a constant repetition of 3 dashes.
A homing signal for Baccarati's scout ship.
That's what Major Robertson thought at first. It comes from a point in the great sea of Planet X, far away from any of Baccarati's known installations.
On an island, then?
Very likely. Somebody's in distress on Planet X. Let's get to our ship, Happy.
Meantime, in the tower room of his castle on Planet X, Prince Baccarati reclines casually on his ornate throne, gazing admiringly at a flashing jeweled medallion. His chief counselor, Dr. Malengro, is patiently waiting to be recognized while the haughty prince fondles a cluster of jewels.
Beautiful. Exquisite. Don Malengro, what is it?
A report from the detachment of guards, Your Highness. They're on the trail of the escaped slaves.
Oh, indeed. Have they been recaptured?
Not yet, sire. But the guard captain thinks the natives are attempting to return to their home region in Crater Canyon.
Yes, all right. Malengro, what do you think of this medallion?
Excellency, this is magnificent. What did you get?
A guard took it from one of the slaves, the one that was recaptured just after the escape.
Amazing. A native with this?
With jewels like this, I can hire more agents, hundreds of them.
Of course, it can solve all Your Excellency's financial problems.
Let's go down to the dungeon and talk to him. It's in the next cell, Malengro.
Big fellow, isn't he?
Yeah. We'll leave the door locked in case he becomes violent.
Might I suggest you mind the fellow? Perhaps you would talk with him.
Well, you talk to him then.
Very well, sire. Tamu, son of Chief Ramad, His Highness Prince Baccarati is impressed by the medallion. He would like to know where you got it.
It was given to me by my father.
And where did he get it?
From his father. It is handed down by each chief to his eldest son. Generation
I don't care about that. Where did it come from originally?
From the Ancient One.
And just who are the Ancient Ones?
The givers of all knowledge. The benevolent masters of this world and the worlds beyond the sun. The exalted...
Stop prattling! Where are these Ancient Ones, whoever they are?
It is not given to me to know. For I am not a chief. Only a chief may know the secret of the Ancient One.
This young upstart is trying to make a fool of me. Blanco, summon the guard. I'll beat this precious secret out of him.
There is another way.
I want to know where these jewels came from.
Perhaps his father, the chief, will reveal the secret to get his son back safely. Besides, if this fellow is telling the truth and only his father knows where the jewels came from, well, we can force him to reveal the secret.
Excellent. We'll take this The farmer would have to prove we have him. Guide, I'm not...
A few hours later, Buzz and Happy are scanning the surface of the great sea of Planet X in their viewscopes, searching for the source of the mysterious signal. Their spaceophone receiver is adjusted to pick up the code whenever the ship crosses the directional beam from the transmitter.
Whoever calculated that fix on the signal must be way off, sir. We're right over the region where it's supposed to come from.
Well, we've got to allow for error, Happy. Remember, the fix was computed from positions millions of DUs from Planet X.
Right. There it is. It's going.
Cross the beam. We'll circle back again.
Sure must be a narrow beam if we crossed it that quick.
You get any sort of a fix on it at all?
I'll check the indicator, sir. Something's mighty strange here, Commander. The signal came from somewhere right below us on the Great Sea, but there's no island and no surface crack.
Watch your viewscope carefully, Hap.
Yes, sir. There it is. Look, there's nothing down here. And our viewscope is sensitive enough to pick up a very small boat. What do you make of it, sir?
It must be submerged. A clever idea. Lessons of chance of Baccarati's scouts ever locating it.
Yes, sir, but who's sending the signal? Where are they?
Probably they're hiding out close to the coast. We'll circle low and give them a chance to see our Space Patrol insignia.
There's a valley a few miles inland, sir. The valley and the foothills are covered with farms and orchards, even inside some of those craters.
That means people, Happy. Probably very intelligent natives. And farming people are usually peaceable.
And whoever escaped from Baccarati could be living with the natives, waiting for the Space Patrol to pick up that signal out there in the ocean.
At least the natives may know if any strangers have passed through recently. We'll head for those craters, Hap.
Meantime, Prince Baccarati has landed his atmosphere ship near the edge of a crater in the valley, some distance from a group of cliff dwellings. Fearful of the reaction of the natives, the prince has sent Dr. Malengro alone to the village to get the chief. A few moments later, Malengro returns with an old man whose regal bearing and fine spun cloth robe are evidence of his important position in the tribe. As he approaches Baccarati, the chief extends his arms to his sides, palms outward, in a gesture of friendship. Baccarati merely stands stiffly, a sneer on his face, as the old man speaks.
I am Ramit, chief of the people of the Valley of Craters. I bid you welcome.
Let's get down to business, Ahmed. Ever see this before?
It belongs to my son, Tamu. He was captured by the tyrant. You have seen my son?
Yes, he's in my ship.
This is joyous news. Tell me your name, that my people may sing in praise of you.
Malenko, didn't you tell him who I am?
I thought it best to withhold that information, sire.
Very well. Ramid, I'm Prince Baccarati.
You are the tyrant?
That is a harsh word to call a gracious prince who has brought your son back to you.
I will gladly apologize when I embrace my son again.
That is easily arranged. Where did this medallion come from?
Why, from my father, who was chief before me.
No more of that. You got more jewels like this. Where are they? Take me to them.
That is impossible.
Then it is impossible for me to return your son.
But, Your Highness, there are no more jewels like that among my people.
Don't lie to me, Ramad. If you got one medallion, you got more. Where are they?
In the realm of the Ancient Ones.
Where is that?
In their city under the sea.
What kind of a nonsense is this? You're lying, Ramad. There is no such city.
I do not lie. I know there is a city under the sea. For I have been there.
Then take me there or you'll never see your son again.
It is forbidden for anyone but a new chief of my people to descend into the city of the Ancient Ones.
I don't care a handful of space dust for your ridiculous customs. If you don't take me to the city for those gems, I'll bless this entire valley.
You mean you will destroy my people?
That's exactly what I mean. If you don't think...
Your Highness, look, a spaceship, Commander Corey's ship.
This Corey's ship. Quick, back to our ship.
There's time coming to the land.
You're right, Malenko. Hurry. Hide before he gets close enough to see exactly what's going on down here.
But where can we hide? He'll find us.
You hide in that thick clump of bushes over there. I'll stay here in plain sight. While he's capturing me, you can get him with the paralyzer ray. Now hurry.
Yes, Your Highness.
You are afraid of this man in the spaceship. It is our liberator, just as it was foretold in the chronicles of the Ancient Ones. You can't harm our liberator.
I won't let you, won't I? We'll see about that. Be ready, Malenko, when Corey comes to the rescue.
Baccarati, all right, sir. He's beating that old man. Trying to drag him into a ship. Let's get him. All right, Baccarati, break it up. I'll get his ray gun, sir.
Let go of me, Corey.
Commander, the old man's unconscious. Baccarati knocked him out. Getting pretty brave, aren't you, Baccarati, beating up an old man all by yourself?
Get them, Malengro.
Yes, Your Highness.
Splendid, Malengro. You got both of them. This is the last time Commander Corey will meddle in the affairs of Planet X.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Hi, Mr. Weatherburn, man.
Hi, you fellas back already?
Yeah, we want some more of those swell space coins and 3 more contest entry blanks for the guys in our Blue Demons Club.
Oh, sure, you bet. Here you are. Your space coins are right there in the album, along with your contest entry blank. And they're absolutely free. You don't have to buy anything.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Weatherford, man. Now the Blue Demons will have even more chances to win the Rocket Clubhouse and the $1,500. Well, maybe we'll win a Schwinn bike for every guy in Demons.
Sure. And don't forget about the 1,000 other prizes. 1,000 pieces of official Space Patrol equipment. And you know, you can get even more of those fine space coins free in packages of hot Ralston cereal. The hot Ralston package with a picture of Commander Corey and Cadet Happy on the front.
You betcha, Mr. Weatherford, man. We're going to get some packages of hot Ralston with the free space coins right now. Then, all of us Blue Demons are going to come back here and get going on the Name the Planet contest again. Be seeing you.
Good. But you better hurry. There's not much time left, Anders.
Right, Space Patrollers, time is running out. But you still have time to get your free space coins and contest entry blank at your Weatherbird shoe store. So do it today. That's your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure under the sea of Planet X. Buzz and Happy blast off for Planet X to investigate a mysterious spaceophone signal that seems to come from the Great Sea. Believing the series of dashes are a distress signal from the United Planets personnel who escaped from Prince Baccarati, Buzz searches the nearby coast. Sighting Baccarati's ship in a crater valley, they land in time to stop Baccarati from beating Ramed, chief of a tribe of peaceful natives. But Buzz and Happy are in turn overpowered by Dr. Malengro, who's been lurking in ambush nearby, armed with the paralyzer ray gun. Helpless from the effects of the blast, the space patrolmen look on as Baccarati and Malengro revive the native chief.
He's coming around all right, Your Highness.
Oh, get him to his feet. Come on, Ramed, get up.
Those men lying there. What have you done to them?
Temporarily paralyzed with this ray gun. This, Ramed, is one of the least powerful of my weapons. Remember that, in case your people will try to rescue you.
Who are these men? From another planet, too, I suppose?
Yes. This is the great Commander Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol of the United Planets. My most formidable enemy. And look at him now.
If he is your enemy, he must be good. A liberator who came from another world to save us from a tyrant, just as the Ancient Ones foretold.
There's your liberator. Your Ancient Ones are either bad prophets, or they were thinking of someone else. Malengro, put Corey and the cadet into my ship and tie them up.
Yes, Excellency. Shall we put them in with Tamu?
There isn't enough room in that compartment. Put them in the first compartment on the left and lock them up.
Yes, Your Highness.
Leaving Buzz and Happy securely bound and locked in Baccarati's ship, the Prince and Malengro followed Chief Ramed around the rims of the craters and across the valley to a steep bluff. Finally, Ramed pauses before a jutting rock formation.
We are at the entrance to the tunnel.
Where? I don't see it.
Slip in behind that large rock.
You go first. You're next, Malengro.
Yes, Your Highness.
There isn't much light in here, Malengro. Have your Atamo light?
Yes, Excellency. Here.
Why, this is no tunnel. It's just a cave. It ends a few yards back. What are you trying to do, Ramed?
The back wall is a concealed gate. I will open it. There's a hidden lever in this recess.
Highness,
amazing. It must take tremendous power to open that gate.
It is a secret force of the Ancient One.
Probably only electricity. See, the tunnel is lighted.
Yes. You will no longer need your little light.
Rahmed, just who were these Ancient Ones?
A race of wise men and women who lived on this world thousands of years ago.
Why did they live under the sea?
Their science told them that this world would be struck with a storm of giant stones from the sky.
Meteors. That's what caused the craters.
Yes. So they built a new city to the east in another deep valley and covered the city with a dome. Then they leveled a huge mountain, and the sea rushed in and covered the city.
The deep water protected them from the meteors.
Yes.
What became of these people, these Ancient Ones?
When the great rain of stones was over, and the air was cooled, the Ancient Ones found that the world was not the beautiful one it once was. The air was foul to their sensitive lungs. So they built great ships and fled into space to seek another world.
Well, it's fortunate they aren't here now to interfere with my plans. Let's get started down this tunnel. Must be a tremendous distance to the sea.
It is a great distance, but you will be there very soon. Stand here if you will. That's it. When I press a lever, the very floor of the tunnel will move and carry you down to the city under the sea.
Conveyor belt, a moving platform.
Amazing. I suggest that you lay down. The floor moves swiftly.
All right, hurry up. Let's get started. Come on, Rahmed. Get on, we're ready.
I'm not going with you.
Rahmed, get on the platform, do you hear me?
Farewell, evil one. You will go alone to the city under the sea.
Not this platform. Stop it, I say.
May the Ancient Ones forgive me for defiling their beautiful city. I will close the gate and return to my people.
Elsewhere, in a compartment of Baccarati's ship, Buzz and Happy, recovered from the effects of the paralyzer ray, are struggling vainly to free their tightly bound hands and feet.
Boy, Malingro really did a job on us this time. Commander, somebody's at the door. Baccarati must be back.
I returned as quickly as I could, Commander Corey. I am Rahmed, chief of the people of the Valley of Craters.
Good evening, Rahmed. We're certainly glad to see you.
I'll say we are.
If you will permit me, I shall release your bond.
Thanks. What happened to Baccarati and Malengro?
They're in the city under the sea. The moving platform should have carried them there by now.
Smoking rockets, you mean there actually is a city under the sea?
Yes. Built hundreds of generations ago by the Ancient One.
And people live in it?
No. Not since the Ancient Ones left this world in spaceships similar to your own. Perhaps you are a descendant of the Ancient Ones, returned to free my people from this tyrant Baccarati. It was foretold by the Ancient One.
No, I'm afraid not. We've been after Baccarati for a long time. We came here because of a signal we received from space.
From the Ancient One?
No, from what we call a spaceophone. We first picked up the signal 3 days ago.
3 days ago, you say? That was the day my son disappeared. He was captured by Baccarati's men. That was the day I went to the tunnel and pressed another secret lever.
Another lever?
When the Ancient Ones left this world, they told those left behind of a tyrant who would someday come to enslave them. They told us of a secret lever that would summon a liberator from out of space.
Smoking rockets, they set that equipment hundreds of years ago, and it works now?
More than hundreds, I think. Thousands. So, Ronald, you sent that signal when Baccarati captured your son.
And 20 other of my people. But my son is here in this ship.
Why didn't you tell us before?
It is not our way to needlessly impose our affairs on strangers.
Well, gee, let's get him out of here. If he's okay, I'll bet he wants to help us go after Baccarati.
No, my friend. He must not enter the city until it is his time to succeed me as chief.
All right, Ronald. We'll probably need you to show us around. After we get your son out of here, we'll go to my ship and get some weapons. Then tackle Baccarati. With ever-increasing speed, the moving platform carries the terrified Baccarati and Malengro down through the tunnel, mile after mile, until they are under the sea. Then the platform slows down and finally comes to a stop. Dazedly, Baccarati and Malengro get to their feet and look in amazement at a city of dazzling beauty, bathed in soft lights of many colors. High above them, a transparent dome holds back the dark blue waters of the great sea.
Look at these buildings.
They're studded with jewels. There are even jewels in the streets. I'm rich. I'm richer than anyone in the universe. Let's chip off as many of these jewels as we can. Use the butt of your razor.
As Baccarati and Malengro wander through the streets of the undersea city, roughly chipping away the largest gems from building walls and streets, Buzz, Happy, and Chief Bramed descend through the long tunnel. Then, cautiously, as the moving platform stops, they enter the city.
Listen. Did I? Yeah. What is it? I don't know. Let's find out. Baccarati and Malengro, chipping gems in the walls. Ready, Hap? Yes, sir. Let's rush him. Come on.
Corey! Malengro, get them!
All right, Baccarati. You going to call it quits, or do you want to go back up that tunnel unconscious?
You win.
Get the weapons, Hap.
And those gems. They must not take the jewels from the city.
Yes, drop them, both of you. You won't be needing them.
Smoking rockets. Baccarati's got an emerald as big as a hen's egg.
I will relieve you of that emerald.
Ramed.
Thanks, Ramed, you old fool. There's your emerald.
Commander, Baccarati's got his blast gun.
Yes, and I'm going to use it.
Don't try. If you break that dome, you'll have the whole ocean in on us.
Then stay right where you are. Come on, Malengro. Follow me.
Yes, Your Highness. After them, Happy. Can't escape it. They may find some weapon they can use against us.
We just ducked around that corner, Commander.
We're gaining on them.
There they are. They're heading for that metal door.
Stop, Baccarati.
Let's see you get in here, Corey.
Oh, doggone it. If we'd just been a second sooner. They've locked themselves in this chamber. Well, all we've got to do is just wait for them to come out. They can't stay in there forever.
I know, huh? I don't like the looks of this.
Yeah, but there's no other door. It's just a metal chamber.
Yeah, but look, it's a column extending clear up to the dome.
I wonder what it's for. Hey, what's happening?
Look up at the top of the dome.
Something shooting up to the surface. A big torpedo or something.
See if you can open that door now, Hap.
The chamber's empty. They're gone.
This is an emergency escape hatch. Baccarati and Malengro shot to the surface inside of a watertight chamber.
Wow, they sure took an awful chance.
It may have been ejected automatically.
Commander.
They got away, Ramed. I'm sorry.
It was my fault. But I am very grateful. You saved the lives of my son and all my people. I will order a feast in your honor.
Thanks, Ramed, but some other time.
But Baccarati cannot harm my people now.
Probably not. We'll go back to our spaceship and search the great sea till we find him.
I know our great danger is over. Baccarati will leave us alone now, I know it. Because I've got my son's jeweled medallion back. Baccarati dropped it in the fight. It is a sign of good fortune.
Well, maybe, Ramed, but just the same, don't forget where that spaceophone signal switch is.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Look for the sign of the Weatherbird Space Patrollers. Look for the sign of the Weatherbird at your Weatherbird shoe store, because that's where you get your free Name the Planet contest entry blank and those swell space coins. And remember, you can also get space coins in packages of good hot Ralston, instant or regular, but hurry. Time's getting short. There's still time to get going on the Name the Planet contest at your Weatherbird shoe store. That's your Weatherbird shoe store. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are trying to drive off one of Prince Baccarati's atmosphere ships before it destroys a small submarine in the great sea of Planet X.
We're driving him off, Hap. Yes, sir. He's cut on all rockets, but what happened to the sub?
We'll take care of it later. After we've chased that atmosphere ship away.
Commander, they're firing at us.
They want to play rough, you'll cooperate. Stand by to fire space torpedoes.
We're hit.
He's knocked out our starboard rockets. We're out of control.
Commander, we're going to crash.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Sea Monster of Planet X, when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovach, Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Stephen Robertson, Dick Beals, and Tom McKee. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles reporting on the famous jet plane assigned to the vital Air Force mission of defending America's homeland, Lockheed's F-94C Starfire. In a moment, we'll hear from Tony LaVere, the well-known record-breaking test pilot on the Starfire. Within seconds after warning, this radar-controlled interceptor can be off the ground and streaking to 45,000 feet or higher. Packing 48 rockets, it can fly and fight in sunshine or darkness at speeds of more than 600 miles per hour. Now, Tony LaVere, tape recorded this morning at a California air base.
You know, good health is important to a test pilot, and I have to stay in top condition. I get lots of rest and eat plenty of good food. That's why I like a good cereal for breakfast, like rice checks or wheat checks. They have real energy and they taste swell. Why don't you try them?
No other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from Tony LaVere, Joe Lynch, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals rice checks and wheat checks. And now, attention all Space Patrollers. Now you can have the big, complete catalog of exciting new Space Patrol toys and official Space Patrol equipment. It's yours absolutely free. Just mail a postcard to Space Products, Box 591, Hollywood, California. That's Space Products, Box 591, Hollywood, California. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.